all coffin furniture, in fact everything that we use, comes out of fashion and goes back into fashion. As far as coffin furniture is concerned, it was popular to have tin-dipped stamped iron from the middle of the 17th century until the end of the 18th century. It's towards the end of the 18th century that we get the japanned coffin furniture coming in, vying in popularity with the stamped lead. It lasted for quite a long time. Indeed, it was possible in some country areas to still buy the japanned, tin-dipped, stamped iron coffin furniture right into the late 1950s or early 1960s. Indeed, I remember going to a funeral when I was a child, and this must have been in the very late 1960s. The coffin was covered in a black baize, and it had the black japanned coffin furniture on it. There was no real reason as to why one had black coffin furniture, or silvered coffin furniture, or brightly burnished brass coffin furniture. The decision was taken by the funeral furnisher. He would sell his funerals, and to some extent they still do today, according to the social status of the deceased. It was he who decided what he thought was appropriate. Appropriate normally meant the most expensive. And so if it was an individual whom he knew was a little bit wealthier than his previous client, he would go slightly upmarket in the selection of the coffin furniture. But woe betide the funeral furnisher then, and perhaps even now, who provided coffin furniture of a more grandiose style and quality than the person on that social scale should receive. He ran the risk of losing the upper classes as his clients. And the public are fickle, and they would go elsewhere where they knew that their status would be regarded, and the funeral furnisher would provide that which is customary. And that was the expression that was used when ordering a funeral. Sometimes you find that prevalent styles in art did affect coffin furniture designs. I'm aware of a set of coffin furniture in a private vault of the late 18th century, which is Egyptian in motif, and that itself homes in on Bonaparte's explorations into Egypt and Egyptology in general. But are there any Art Nouveau coffin furniture examples, or even Art Deco? Well, there were, and when it came to Art Nouveau, the trade only tiptoed into that region. In the main, they found that the funeral trade were happier in buying the more traditional Gothic revival, purely because they knew that's what their clients wanted. I'm sure when it came to some individual clients, they would have specifically requested something a little bit more modern. And so people like Ingle Parsons and Clive and Doddridge brothers, and indeed Newmans, were able to provide something that was a little bit more contemporary than that which would otherwise have been asked for. Art Deco, certainly. And indeed, Art Deco is still available today, the most well-known fitting being the Yorkrem handle, which does look like a handle from an Odeon cinema, the type of thing you might have seen on a chest of drawers in the Odeon cinema itself. They began life as the earliest of the injection-molded plastic fittings for coffins. They were designed in the 1950s, but certainly by an individual whose mindset was still far away in the Art Deco rather than the Festival of Britain.